But what we're going to do is we got what I call one of the few people in the so-called Hebrew community that I actually have a lot of honor and respect for, and that's Elder Rawchaa. We don't speak much at all, don't talk much at all, never even carry on the conversation. But we've always had some form of mutual respect. And of course, our doctrine is definitely different, what you're going to hear. But at least one thing, he's going to give an informed, intelligent take on everything that is transpiring, taking place. But I'm also going to give you a commentary, and I'm going to use this as an example to show that a lot of times when people are speaking out here, and this is no dig at Elder Rawchaa or GOCC, I'm just responding to what he has said. All right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give an informed and a very informed response to this. And he's not asking for a response. It was just somebody was calling in asking about it, and he gave his particular take on it, which I actually thought was a good take. What I don't agree with is the spirit of fear that is all over people out there, which you're going to hear and see and be able to judge for yourself. So let's go ahead and hear what Elder Rawchaa has to say. Michael Israel is going to be stopping it periodically so I can speak to us before we get into Shabbat's message. We're going to have to cut it halfway through to get to the most important part I wanted to get to anyway. Hallelujah. Now, Satan's playbook is always the same. Use the children for a prelude to create a narrative and use that as if they really care about children, while they're fighting like hell to keep Roe v. Wade in the law. These people about lost their mind when they ended the abortion law right. The Democrats about lost their mind when they ended killing babies in the womb. That was legal for a long, long time. And that was their holy grail. But y'all is not, according to 2 Timothy 1:7, y'all is not giving us a spirit of fear. And what you're going to see is you're going to see a perfect example of while people are using the word, handling the word, they're very fearful in actually living the word. And it's just not only them, but it's almost every single one of them. And what's going to happen is there's going to be a weeping howl. The scriptures already warn us about being in cities. And if you notice, that's one of the things that is definitely ignored today, is about dwelling in these cities and being in these cities. I don't know how many times he tells us that your cities are left unto you desolate. And where the majority of the destruction is going to take place is inside of these population centers. But we live what the Bible says because we're in captivity. And again, y'all going to see what I'm talking about concerning this spirit of fear. Now, we've been doing this thing for 30 years. We've been living on this community for 26 years. And I think I've pretty much got it figured out how we should do it. That does not make us immune from man's law because we're not in our land where our laws are, but our land is coming. If you understand what I mean. And so this is the time of the Gentiles that the book says, and the Gentiles are having their time. And you have to understand that. And you have to understand that the majority of people today that actually so-called quote-unquote preach on the word, there's a lot of unpopular things that they don't want to introduce to your ears. And the reason being is for fear. Now the book teaches us, unlike many people today, you found out that you're not the type of man or woman you thought you were. Tells us to be not so soon shaken in mind and need to be troubled by any spirit. And yet and still, when fear comes, when desolation comes, and all these calamities come, we find ourselves in the state that the book tells us to not be in. Now, Jesus has given us warning. The law has given us direction. The prophets has given us direction. The apostles has given us direction. And why is it ignored? I keep telling y'all, for the convenience of living like the Gentiles, living after the manners of the Gentiles. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and start at the 26-30-second spot right here, and we're going to roll here for a second. Come on with it, Mike Grizz. I hope everybody can hear
a few things that happened not too long ago with in particular, the thing that happened with Straightway, or what you would call Pastor Dowell's ministry, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I don't know if anyone have heard about that, right? Where there was a raid on Pastor Dowell's, well,
Now, let's stop here for
it was more theater than anything.
Now, again, we have many ministries inside the ministry of Straightway, and they're all a Straightway. Are you following me? But where I dwell here in Straightway, Tennessee, it did not get raided. You see what I mean? This is for clarity's sake and clarity purpose. Our brothers up in Indiana got unjustly raided. And it's amazing to me how that, and by the way, the raid wasn't like you thought it was, because they had the news media there. You know, Pastor Muir told him there was a lady in there nursing, don't go in there, and they went in there pointing guns at a nursing woman, nursing in a room. I mean, just crazy, isn't it? It's just crazy. But anyway, nevertheless, all of this, but if you notice that everything is built around Straightway. You know this, right? Now, I'm showing y'all how effective I am in this earth by preaching y'all's word. Are you following me? Because if I wasn't so effective, because can't nobody lay any sin to our charge. They can say a lot of things. It doesn't mean that it's true just because somebody says something, if you understand what I mean. But you know good and well that we're really very effective in doing damage to Satan's kingdom. If we wasn't doing damage to Satan's kingdom, I mean, Brother Trey, he can be in Goodlettsville, Tennessee, and fart, and they would tell you Straightway's problem. He can pass gas and tell you a Straightway problem. If you go out there and do anything, they're going to associate everything back here to the hub, which is fine and good. You understand? I got big shoulders. You understand what I mean? So no, I'm not fearful about being raided or one of the communities being raided or any of that. Not at all. Not in the least bit. Are you following me? Well, because we're very law-abiding citizens, whether people believe it or not. We know how to obey Yah's laws, which is greater than man's laws. All right? So anyway, just wanted to put that on point. Are you following me? That's kind of like with R.G. Stair. This man lives in Jefferson, he lives in Walterboro, South Carolina. He's been doing this mess for years. And I've only known him for a few years at that time. And I'm up here in Tennessee fellowshipping. You know, I will go down to fellowship with him. He goes and sins, but Pastor Dowell's the problem, the reason why he's sinning. I'm guilty by association. You follow me? Now, I had to break off from that. I had to leave that because I wasn't going to subject the Israelites to that type of spirit. But that never gets told. You follow me? That never gets told. But when it comes to Straightway, Goshen, and Pastor Muir and all them, man, we're going to stand with them to the end. We with them to the end. And we with all our communities to the end. But anyway, let's go on, Michael Israel.
Right. I don't know what happened. I'm not going to pretend I understand what happens, but I understand when the news report on something like this, the majority of the time, it's a hit piece, right? Something that brings a negative connotation to those who know the truth concerning us being Israelites. They'll never, I would say, report unbiased.
Right.
Or separate what someone does negative from the group itself. Now, am I in defense of Pastor Dowell? No. But again, I'm careful not to jump on things like this, you know, just because the media would like us to demonize or attack or come against our own people. They love stirring the pot to see how it unfolds. Who's going to attack and go against their own people without hearing both sides? That's first and foremost. The Bible states, before 2 or more witnesses, let all things be established. Right? Let me put that out there. I'm not in defense of anything because I don't know what's going on with that compound and what's going on with that.
Okay, so
I'm not
let's
a part
stop
of
there for a
that.
second.
But I would,
All right, a compound is a military post. A compound is these housing compounds out here, you know, where they're stacked up. We are a farm called a community. Now, they're not going to stop them from calling us a compound. Are you following me? Compound's a bunch of buildings that's closely together. We're spread out all over the place. You know, there's 101 acres, buildings all over the place. You understand what I mean? And so I don't know too many compounds that have gardens, greenhouses, and ponds, and shops, and cows, and chickens, and normally people would say that's a farm. The normal people will call it a farm. But that makes them feel good to say compound. Are you following me? Because the majority of them, now you live in a city, you don't live in a compound. Did y'all hear me? Most people live in the city, live in a sardine can. No, for real. I'm not being funny. I'm being serious about this. You follow me? When you see a community's got, it's amazing. You can go down here and see these gated communities, which is a compound. That's a compound. But they don't call that a compound because it fits the Gentile narrative of the way that they want people to live. Everybody living in different dwelling places, but nobody in unity. You have a neighbor, but you don't know your neighbor. Your neighbor don't know you. You just wave, come by, you know what I mean? And they want that. They don't want no unity. This is about design. They don't want nobody living together in any unity because that makes the government fearful. The government only wants them to be fearful. The government wants you to be fearful, but the truth is the government is supposed to be fearing the people and not the people fearing the government. Now, the reason why the people are in trouble today because 99% of Americans are stupid as hell. The government only gets its power from the consent. And we consent, we sign over rights, we do all this and give it to them. So anyway, we live on a community. That's why it's called common unity. Community. As hard and difficult as that is, I'm going to try it again. Try it again, Brother Grant. Common unity. And we get that from the book of Acts. Because this is the way that the Most High Yah, when we read the law, when we read the prophets, when we read the words of Yahshua, the Messiah, and we see the acts of the apostles that implemented what Yahshua spoke to them about, this is what we come up with. Are you following? Now, see, you have to understand, you people that live on compounds out there, they got y'all. How many of y'all out there can save up $275,000 and go buy some land? There ain't too many people can do that. There's very few people can save that kind of money. They want you to go out and get a mortgage for $275,000. That's what they want you to do. So if you all live on a community and there's no rent and no mortgage, now here's the word, we can compound what we're doing, if you understand what I mean. And we can invest in us rather than investing in that system out there. But if you go out there and let's say you pay an average of $1,500 a month mortgage, that's 15, that's 3,000, that's 4,500, that's 6,000. You see what's going on, right? Look how much money is going to the system. What could you do with $6,000 if you put it inside of a community? Make sense? All right, come on with it.
say this, okay, and here's the honest truth. I will say from the beginning, and Elder Lawyer would know this, and I've been on record with this, I'm not against how they're going about the all things common there. And I put that on record. Not that I don't think that it's a good idea. It's a utopian idea that if all things worked out, it would seem like a good thing to do.
Stop.
But
y'all
what
hear
you
that?
can't bank on.
Did y'all hear that? He's not against. It's a utopian ideal. Then I guess the book is a utopian ideal. Am I making sense? Now, he's not against it, but it's a utopian ideal in which he don't think is something that he would do. You get that? Now, if I start reading up here what this book says to do, then we gotta either he's right and the book is wrong, or either the book is right and he's wrong, just like many other people. So when I read over in Leviticus chapter 20, starting at verse 22, I want y'all to listen to it. This is coming from the word, right? He says, you shall therefore keep my statutes and all my judgments and do them, that the land, whether I bring you to dwell, therein spew you not out. And you shall not walk in the manners of the nations, which I've cast out before you, for they committed all of these things. And therefore I abhor them. I mean, y'all detest them and y'all hate them. But I have said unto you that you shall inherit the land, and I will give it unto you to possess it. A land that flows with milk and honey, for I am Yahweh your Elohim, which have separated you from the other people. Highlight, y'all did what? Separated you from other people. That's when we was going into the land of Canaan. Are you following me? You see the sentiment? You see the sentiments here though, right? Yahweh said he is the one that has separated us from the other people. And then he says, and you shall therefore put difference between the clean beast and the unclean, and between the unclean fowls and clean. And you shall not make your souls abominable by beast, or by fowl, or by any manner of living that creepeth on the ground, which I have separated from you as unclean. And you shall be holy unto me, for I am Yahweh, am holy, who have severed you from the other people, that you should be mine. Now, that's one sentiment over in Yah right there, right? Over in Jeremiah 29, verse 4, he says, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, unto all that are carried away captives. You see the difference? See, now we was in Canaan once before, getting ready to go to Canaan. Now we are carried away captives. And this is why I've got to get everybody to understand here. We are in captivity in America. But they want you to believe that you are a nation just like them. You know, Rome wanted everybody to be like Rome. Y'all getting this, right? And he goes on to say, whom I have caused to be carried away from Jerusalem unto Babylon. Build you houses. To the law and to the prophets, right? And dwell in them. Plant gardens and eat the fruit of them. Take ye wives and beget sons and daughters, and take wives for your sons, and you give your daughters to husbands, that they may bear sons and daughters, that ye may be increased there and not diminished. Y'all hear that, right? Law, prophets. Let's go straight to the apostles for a second. 2 Corinthians 6:14, be ye not unequally yoked together. So anybody who is not an Israelite in America is a pagan, is a heathen, is a Gentile, is one of another nation. Christians are not our people, no matter what mark you put on yourself. You understand that? Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship have righteousness with unrighteous? And what communion have light with darkness? And what concord or agreement have the Messiah with Belial? Or what part have he that believeth with an infidel? And what agreement have the temple of Yah with idols? For ye are the temple of the living Elohim. For Elohim have said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. Listen to what he says. Then he says, wherefore, this is after the death, burial, and resurrection of Messiah. Wherefore, come out from among them. Now, we're over in Canaan. Y'all severed us from the people. We're in captivity in Babylon. He told us to build you houses and plant gardens. Is that right? That's what he said. Now, after the death, burial, and resurrection, the instruction is you get away from these people. That's coming out. And then look what it says. And be ye separate. Say the same thing that the law said. And this is, saith the Lord. Saith the Master. I told you it's one of the few places in the so-called New Testament where you read, thus saith the Lord. Uh-oh. And touch not the unclean thing. It is on what he told us over there in the law. And I will receive you. When? When you come out. When you come out from among them, and be you separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean, I will receive you. And then he says, he says, and I will be a father unto you, and ye shall be my sons and daughters, saith Yahweh Almighty. We're just laying that groundwork there just for a second. I'm not going to go over all of it, though, okay? I want to, so y'all get the, so the people out there that are listening to this will be able to hear what the book says, because you normally are not going to hear this in your religious institutions, because if they're not doing this, they're not going to preach about this. Now, you follow me? So there was a man, teacher, anybody up there that can read? Oh, give me the scriptures. Give me a Bible, man. Give me a King James Bible real quick. Or give me a Bible. Just give me a Bible, man. Matthew 19. Starting at verse 16. I should have told you to give me some 1.25 reading glasses too. But I guess since you're so young, you can't be doing that. Don't give me no 3.50 Vincents. You're going to give me some 3.5s, man. All right. The rich young ruler. This was Yahshua's answer to the rich young ruler. And one came to him and said unto him, good teacher, what good shall I do to have inherit or have everlasting life? Is that right? And he said unto him, why do you call me good? No one is good except one, Elohim. But if you wish to enter into life, guard the commandments, or keep the commandments. Ain't that what he said? Keep the commandments. And he said unto him, which? And Yahshua said, you shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness. Respect your father and your mother. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. And the young man said to him, all these I have watched over from my youth. What do I lack? Now, y'all think this is just a fairy tale, or is this something that's really serious business? I mean, he's asking a question, what can he do to inherit? See, inherit means you have to be in a family to inherit eternal life. And Yahshua is breaking it down to his lowest common denominator. All right? And he goes on to say this. The young man said unto him, all these I have watched over from my youth. What do I still lack? And Yahshua said to him, if you wish to be perfect. Notice, all you people out there in the world, if you wish to be perfect, not be religious, but if you wish to be perfect, not hear the words of man, but hear the words of your creator. But if you wish to be perfect, and see, to tell you the truth, there ain't too many people out here that want to be perfect. They want to be religious, they want to go into the kingdom, but they have no desire for perfection. If you wish to be perfect, go and sell what you have and give to the poor, and you shall have treasure in heaven, and come and follow me. So what did Yahshua say? Go and sell. And then we get over here to Acts chapter 2. What did the disciples have to do? Go and sell all that you had. Acts chapter 4. Go and sell all that you have. Where did they get that idea from? They got it from Yahshua. Why? Because Yahshua, knowing our condition, knowing that we were in captivity, he knew what it was going to take for us to be in perfection. He knew what it was going to take for us to be able to make it together to get to the kingdom. That's why people out there don't have no conviction to live holy and live set apart, because you're rubbing elbows with the heathen and Gentiles all day. And when they're dirty and you have timing, you gray, they gray, ain't nobody being convicted. Uh-oh. Y'all getting that? We'll keep going here, then we're going to get on back over here to Elder Rawchaa. Luke. You already know this. Chapter 14, verse 33. And always reread before and after. So y'all know that this didn't come by Pastor Dowell's own mind. See, there's some false spirits out there trying to make you think that Pastor Dowell just thought up and conjured up this stuff for himself. This is something that's always been, but there's very few. You remember when Yahshua said, when he comes, shall he find faith, people doing right on this earth? See, we have the ideal conditions to where when our children grow up, they're not going to marry these heathens out here. We're setting up the perfect lifestyle based on what the Father said. And look what he said in verse 33. So then, every one of you who does not give up all that he has, he is unable to be my taught one. King James says, unless a man forsake all that he has, he cannot be my disciple. So what have any of you out there given up? Now, that's the word that is forever settled in heaven. That's the word that don't change. That's the word that don't have to apologize when something comes out of his mouth. That's perfection speaking right there. Again, somebody right and somebody wrong. Now, all due respect, nobody cares about what he believes or what he thinks. You're not up there to preach and teach to handle the word, telling people what your personal beliefs are. You're here to preach the word, to be instant in season and out of season. But see, like I said again, if you don't live this, you will not preach it. They that preach the message must live the message. And there's a different dynamic. So what they want to do is cause everybody to be fearful of Caesar. Have more fear of him than you do of Yah. Let's go ahead on, Michael Israel. Come on.
And like I said from the beginning, what others are going to do, okay, when you bring them all together and there's so many people operating separately, if one person, even if they're not significant in the grand scheme of things, it's enough for the government to pull through someone else to pull the whole thing down.
He's telling the truth.
And what did I say in the beginning? I said,
you get a whole bunch of people with different mindsets, you bring them together, and then somebody decides to get disgruntled, they can go out there and just lie their rear and all. That's part of the risk you take. But is y'all real? Oh, you talking about? Well, I've been lying on ever since I've been doing this. They said, you coming down, Straightway gonna be. Straightway was destroyed 30 years ago, and we still here. Stand up, Zay. Believe it or not, one time I used to look like this, man. Had a nice old black beard and stuff, and now it's gonna be great. One day I'm gonna be walking around here just like this. They still waiting for Straightway to be destroyed. Thank you, son. Are you getting it? But listen real close. He's right in this aspect he's getting ready to take here. Go ahead. Keep your finger on that button.
Usually it's something with children. Think about this. Living in North Philadelphia, right? On the block, right? How many times we scraped our knee or broke limbs? And our parents like, what you doing, boy? Jumping off of old houses and roofs and all that. And nails, you know, how many things happen when you come home with a black eye from fighting, right? Mm-hmm. So It's just natural as a young man or whatever the case might be. Any injury that happened on these particular facilities, any injury, is going to be abuse.
Stop for a second. Did y'all hear that? Because that's the way that they're already conditioned to believe. Are you getting it? They're already conditioned to believe that anything that takes place is going to be considered abuse because, why? We're on the front line. And the enemy don't like what we're doing. And that's the way that they're going to view it. Are you following me? Now, when I was growing up, man, I came home with a black eye one day, and Dad Dowell said, what happened to you? I said, got in a fight. He said, you did win, right? I said, you should see what the other person looked like. You understand what I mean? That's going to happen. Are you following me? Now, the one thing we should have learned, and you heard Pastor Muir speak about it last night, he went against what Yahshua had already told us about family. He said that last night. So, how much is going to take you to be understanding that Yah's word is real? When Yahshua gives you a warning about natural family, you better take heed to it. Once you're born again, that family ain't your family no more. And they're going to let you know they think they're family. You ain't their family. That's why I've had the most peaceful life away from natural family. Because, man, when I started keeping these commandments, I started asking myself, what happened to all these people? I thought they was Christians. I thought they loved Jesus. I thought they loved the truth. And so I come over there with my little Bible, go and sit down, man, let's look at this, what this Bible said. The next thing you know, a spirit came over them. Their face got turned like an adamant stone, Grant. Next thing you know, I'm getting cussed out. They called the Department of Child Services on me, accused me falsely of all kinds of everything. They just started making up stuff. I go, what did I do? I was brand new in this. I ain't have nobody to lean on. Told Mother Carol, I said, hey, that book is real. Jesus said they're going to be your foes. You better get away from them. Then he gave me a new family. But watch this. He's going to make some good points. Come on.
If it was an accident, you can have a family member that's malcontent who don't like what you believe in. And through that, they can go to the government and use a child to take the whole thing down. This is what I said years ago. Not to say what I said had anything to do with this, but it's too much responsibility that comes with unforeseen actions with people on your property.
All right, stop for a second. So does that mean, because everybody understands that this could be a great possibility, does that mean you don't obey Yah? Does that mean you're fearful of living and doing this? It's easy to sit back. You know, anybody ever played football before? Raise your hand. Any sports? The game is a whole lot different on the field than on the sideline, than sitting in the bleachers. Because the people, you ain't seen them people in the bleachers, right? They know everything. You ain't never seen them people in the bleachers. They know your position and job better than you do. As a matter of fact, they shouting from the bleachers what you should have done. And you sitting up there looking, damn it, there's a reason why I'm on this field and your ass in the bleachers. So you see the angle. Because it could be a possibility that somebody could go rogue. So that means we don't obey what Yah says then, right? No. We ought to obey Yah rather than man. Acts 5:29. So see what this is fear. 2 Timothy 1:7 says Yah's not giving us a spirit of fear, but a power, love, and a what? Sound mind. That's what he's giving us. So you're going to see him continue to keep developing that you shouldn't do this because of this. But that ain't what the book says. And I've been asking somebody out there to show me how to obey this book for 30 years, and they ain't had nobody show me yet. Y'all hearing this, right? Come on.
Right? So this is why I'm like, that all things common, because people change their mind. They get upset. They can come back and say, well, I want my money back.
Okay,
Right?
let's stop right there a second. Now, we hoping that people got something to come, but again, 90% of the people that come to a community has zero. So how much money you want back? How much money you want back when you've been living rent-free? You have vehicles you get to drive, you don't have to pay no car insurance. You can go out here and get 4 speeding tickets and never get any points on your license. Because you ain't got a vehicle or an insurance to attach them to, unless they decide to take your license. You got a school, you got a gym, you got a dining hall, you got a fellowship hall, you got a farm, you got greenhouses, you got chickens, you got cows, you got brothers, you got sisters. You got a roof over your head, clothes on your back, shoes on your feet, and money in your pocket. Now, if you go out there to Christianity and tell them you want all your tithes and offering back, tell me how that's going to work for you. They're going to tell you, you what? Gave it. Leave the church. How many of y'all ever left any Christian church? Raise your hand. You ever left? Did it even come into your mind to go and ask them for your money back? So why does it have to come up here over here? Why does it have to come up over here? I'm mad and I'm disgruntled. I want my money back. I'll tell you what, go to those Christian churches you were in and get your money back from every one of them, then come see me and we'll consider it. It's nonsensical. You see, I'm one of the few men that this particular generation has ever seen that literally has made an attempt to serve y'all. I know, and don't get me wrong, y'all probably one of the few people in your own families that has made an attempt to serve y'all. You don't get to do this and go unscathed. Just like they talk about me, they talk about you. Just like they accuse me, they accuse you. But this is not for the faint at heart. This is not for the fearful. This is not for the unbelieving. You're going to really, truly, think about Noah in his day. He was the only one building an ark. And when it came time, when the rain started falling, everybody wanted to be in the ark. Didn't have no participation in building. Sat and mocked him 120 years. No telling how much scrutiny he had to go through. And Yahshua even spoke about, as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the days of the coming of the Son of Man. They were eating, they were drinking, they were marrying, they were giving in marriage, and they knew not until the flood came. And like I always bring emphasis to it, Noah built the door, but he didn't open it, nor did he shut it. And the book says, and once the master rises up and shuts to the door, you people are in some serious trouble out there for not obeying Yah. I'm not going to sit up and let this devil make some of you doubt what you're doing when what they're living is nothing in the plan of Yah. They live just like the Gentiles. Yah tells you don't go get in debt. What are you going to do? Y'all tell you to owe no man nothing. What are you going to go do? And ain't nobody on this community owe nobody nothing. I just got finished getting a pastor out of this community, out of this ministry right here because he wouldn't obey what I said. This is after 14 years. People don't think that day of reckoning is coming. How long are you going to be rebellious and think I'm just going to sit there and continue to keep on letting you keep building and keep going and keep doing what you're going to do and never get checked on it? He made it easy for me. He called a bunch of our pastors and elders wicked, and he made sure that nobody was going to come on his land. Notice he said his land. And then he made a comment about people moving on your land. Mother Carol, how much land is in my name? Y'all hear that? She said none. I just got finished purchasing 13.87 acres 2 or 3 days ago, and it's not in my name. Isn't that something? But see, they don't understand this because they have a certain way of understanding because of the way that they live, the way they've been culturally conditioned and brought up. They don't understand you can buy land and it not be in your name. Are you following me? They don't understand that you can have land and in that having that land, you don't have to pay no taxes without being 501c3. Well, how do you do it? Go ask your pastor. They got all the answers. They preaching. They teaching. And he said, you know, then the sentiment is, well, what if they get mad, they want to leave? Leave. The land ain't going nowhere. We're not going to take that stupid idea, put up a fence. I'm telling you, man, it's eating too much of the modified foods, man. They doing some stuff to the mind up here, I'm telling you. Come on.
Someone can get mad at someone, and the Most High forbid, if someone wants to take something down, the only thing they can do after getting mad from leaving there is claim that someone got raped. It's too many things that can happen that the government is waiting for, and it usually comes through someone that was in the congregation who flipped. The person who loved you today can hate you tomorrow.
Hey, stop that. Don't that sound like doofus? My biggest cheerleader. You can't tell me nothing about Pastor Dowell. I was right for 14 years, but I've been wrong for the last 3 months. They could love you today and hate you tomorrow. They could flip on you. Start making up all this stuff. And of course, you know, I don't mind for people to come and ask me a question about they're going to investigate me. But you ever notice people ain't knocking down the door to investigate Pastor Dowell, though? I'm sure it's got their attention because there's just so many charges being levied. Of course, it's charges from the court of public opinion. It's not charges from the law. So therefore, they can't follow up on a false accusation. So I keep myself in the love of Yah. But there's a potential. Some of you may get a wild demon up in you and just lie your rear end off. We've had that done before. But don't expect me to be your kissing cousin after you do that. I'm going to forgive you, but I'm going to love you from a long distance. You know, out of sight. So why not, since you done put your hand to the plow, why not just see the thing through for once in your life? But what he's developing is all the reasons why you shouldn't and what could probably take place or have fear, projected fears. So we're serving fear more than we're serving Yah. Didn't I just get finished reading? I just touched a portion of what the book says. I went from the law, I went to the prophets, I went to the apostles, and I went to Jesus. So you could really truly see what's going on. So I guess they're telling us that they're living right. Only one problem. We don't live like that. I don't like it. Y'all see what I mean? And the devil working on some of you. You in community and homesteads, you are, well, I hope he gets you. You know the reason why? He that doubteth is damned. Because he doubteth already. Uh-oh. The book says a double-minded person is unstable in all their ways. Why should we want you around? We need people of faith. And boy, people act like they done us a favor when they move to a community. Do y'all know what we got to go through and how much we have to tolerate when you first come to a community? You talking about enduring hardness. You can preach that, can't you, Angelica? How much you have endured, sisters. They try to say, Angelica, oh, she's just all over me. She just don't love. And really, that ain't what I see. I see your wickedness, and I see her not tolerating it, and I see her loving you as a sister and talking to you about it. Every time I see her, she's either taking care of the children or she's out here doing somebody else's yard work. And she's doing the community yard. She stays busy. She ain't got no time for all that stuff you're accusing her of. And here you are, ain't doing nothing but you complaining. And I'm supposed to listen to you. Come on with it. It's good, ain't it?
And guess what? Christ says that many shall be betrayed, right? So my take is what they do is their business. I have nothing to do with it. But I don't believe under those circumstances, what's going on in the earth today, that that's a wise thing, bringing people onto your property and all that.
Stop for a second.
And what's happening.
Notice, this is what people do. They don't believe what they don't believe is wise. What did the book just say? Now, who you going to serve? Because no man can serve two masters. Brother Brad and them just moved up here from North Carolina. Purchased some land. You know what we did? I said, neighbor, love you so much, we're going to buy that land right next to you. We're going to put a home there, put some Israelites so they can be a community too. What's wrong with that? Where Allison at? Wouldn't you love to have some sisters for a neighbor? You're your wife, right? Yes, sir. Come on.
Only that with the prior examples that are out there.
Okay.
And for those who don't know,
let's look at the prior examples. You know the prior examples, right? Waco. That bald-headed woman, Janet Yellen, she probably burning in hell right now for doing that. Nobody don't know about Janet Yellen except these older folks right here. That Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid looking bobbed-off haired woman. Sending in all those people, the ATF and everybody else to go raid that, what they call compound, raid that community. Well, he don't know what he did. No, I know what they said. I ain't heard all of their side. And anytime I'm listening to what they said, it ain't right. And you're never going to understand how wrong the law enforcement are and the news media are until it comes to your front door. That's when you're going to get it. So some of the things that's happening, they came into Waco and they destroyed this place. So they assume the same thing is going to happen to us. It ain't going to happen to us. Pastor Dowell's smart. And I ain't telling you everything because you don't have a need to know. Do the Israelites know? You want to know? Go ask your pastor. He know everything. Your pastor got all the answers. Your pastors are so fearful they can't obey Yah. I don't believe we should doing it. Now, what we going to be doing, elder, pastor, preacher, teacher, should we be following your thoughts, your sentiments, or should we be obeying what Yah's words say? See what I mean? So, see, he makes it easy for worldly people. You get it? He appeases the mind and conscience. But if we're going to be judged according to everything that's written in those books, one of the things that's in the books is, did you sell it all? Did you forsake all? Oh, we don't think we're going to be judged on that. Don't know. It's in the book. And the books were open. And the dead was judged according to those things that were written in the book. So, believe it or not, one side of the book, all them people that live set apart, they're going to be on the perfect side. That's what the book says. If you will enter into perfection. That's the words of Yeshua. See, these people are making you to believe a false dream and a false hope and having you comfortable living with the Gentiles. And he's even going to get more outlandish in his comment, though. All right, follow me? Read on. Let me read on. Say on. Push on. Play on.
What's going on? Let me show them real quick, Elder Lawyer.
Y'all look at this.
Yes, sir.
Because this is how the news is going to report things. This is going to sit back and wait for one disgruntled person, or for an accident to happen, or something that happens that's criminal. Automatically, they're going to attach it to the whole organization. Fair use, for educational purposes only.
This is breaking news from the Fox 59 newsroom.
Fair use.
Yeah, at the end of the day, we found Bryson, and that's who we were wanting to find.
And Fox 59 continues our team coverage of
Let's stop
breaking
there for
news
a
this
second.
afternoon. A young boy.
And I'm going to show you how disingenuous they have been for 2 weeks. They found Bryson, but they didn't tell you where they found him. He been missing. Amber alert. Silver alert. He been missing. Why? This is the first black boy that ever got any attention in America. Usually the only type of people get that kind of reporting is a blonde-haired, blue-eyed woman. They will comb heaven and earth to go get her. You ain't never seen nobody have so much attention as old little black Bryson. I'm like, damn. You ain't never seen a nigga get that much attention. We found Bryson. They was disingenuous in their reporting. They found him at home. They said, we found him safe. Safe where? At home. Pastor, I don't want you to tell us what's happening. The news media telling you what's happening is what you believe anyway. You see what I mean? See, the reason why I'm not going to say anything to this cult of public opinion out there, because this thing has got to run. Pastor Muir and them can never even have a fair trial. Everything is already out in the up. Who the peers is going to judge them? You can't get anybody in Indiana. They already compromised. They already done built up an offense against them because of the news media. You can't get no national news. It's all over the place. Huh? Where you going to get it from? And they damn sure ain't going to put no black folks on the jury. You know the reason why they don't put black folks on jury? Because you're benevolent. Brother Britt, am I right? They say, man, y'all got a big heart. We can't put y'all on there because, man, y'all give them everything. Need to put some cold, hard, callous white folks on there so they can. See, they know that about y'all. Psychological. Y'all be compassionate. You built on compassion. So they strategically have these attorneys to pick. No, not you. No, not you. No, not you. They look for the people that on medication, drooling at their lips. Yes, people that can't think on their own. If you ever get called for a jury selection, you get on a jury, the jury is there to judge the law. Your word is greater than the law. Yes. The law could say this, and you could say this as a jury and say, to hell with the law, this is the judgment, and they got to obey you. We the people, in order to perform a more perfect union, to establish justice and tranquility. I used to watch Schoolhouse Rock. Most of y'all don't know about Schoolhouse Rock, man. Every morning, Saturday morning, Schoolhouse Rock was the bomb. Never mind. Come on with it.
Boy considered missing for more than 2 weeks is now safe, and his parents, including a
Is now safe. Now, Elder Lawyer, these are the same people who are championing rights to have children lives taken under abortion.
True.
Exactly.
So now they care about a little black boy all of a sudden. So that's the hypocrisy of this, folks. The boy is safe. You think they really care about this young man? Boy, I can't wait to go into that secret Moloch teaching that I'm going to do in the next academy, folks.
And he's
Talking
right,
about the
something
little
to say.
boy.
They don't care nothing about a little black boy. They only care about the national attention. If you notice, and how what? It's all aiming back at what? Straightway. See, we got the devil in the crosshairs, and the devil got us in his crosshairs. Straightway. You see what I mean? Come on, watch this.
Is safe. It only takes one family member who don't like the fact that you didn't come to the Christmas party, okay?
Yo, oh boy. Oh, stop for a second. How many of y'all have experienced that? Yeah, raise your hands. Y'all got them cameras working. How many of y'all experienced that? Only one family. Look at this. You mean to tell me your family, they don't love you? They mad at you because you didn't come to Christmas tree? Isn't that amazing? Did you try to tell them the truth? What happened? Colossians 2:8. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the traditions of men and after the rudiments of the world, and not after Messiah. They love their traditions more than Messiah because they put Jesus in it. That don't mean he in it, but they put him in it. Let's go on. I'm going to try to let this play a little bit.
Let's go.
And Fox 59 continues our team coverage of breaking news this afternoon. A young boy considered missing for more than 2 weeks is now safe, and his parents, including a former Colts player, are in jail. Daniel and Kristen Muir walked out of a courtroom after a judge denied them bond during their initial hearing. Thanks for joining us here first at 4. I'm Nick McGill.
And I'm Max Lewis in for Aaliyah today. Fox 59 has team coverage on this story, from the charges that couple faces to our exclusive footage of this morning's raid and to a look at the group behind that compound.
Yeah, we were going to begin in court here.
Stop.
Y'all hear that?
Did y'all catch that? And to look at the group behind that compound. Y'all good. They only shooting at me. Hello? Is it me you're looking for? But y'all hear that? And the group behind that community. You hear that, right? Come on.
To take a good look at the group behind the compound. This is what I told people years ago. Why? Because Esau, folks, he doesn't create new tricks. He responds the same way under every instance. Historically, they've always did things the same way. Let's make it clear. The Move member on Old Sage Avenue, when they was looking to regentrify a part of Southwest Philadelphia, about 3 blocks away from Will Smith lived. The first elder lawyer, the first black mayor, Wilson Good, I'll never forget him, was mayor when the Philadelphia police dropped a bomb on the Move members, what they called the Move members. They were black people seeking to do what? Live naturally, natural health, no modern medicine. Their children were intelligent, they were being homeschooled, and they dropped a bomb on a city block with a black mayor, folks, who approved it. Why? Because they had plans on turning that into a regentrification, and Move was able to sneak in and buy a bunch of these houses for $1. That's when they had dollar houses in Philadelphia for the underprivileged to build up. You can come down to City Hall, buy the houses for $1 if you're willing to fix it up, and you have a certain amount of time to fix it up. It was called dollar houses. They did this for the underprivileged, or our people, black people, as a give back. Well, Move members came in separate under separate names and bought about 4 houses on Old Sage Street where they were seeking to regenify. They dropped the bomb on it. See, that's what they do. And they already set the precedent, Elder Lawyer, for when people try to come together and do something out religiously outside of government control. They have already set the precedent. What do I mean by that? Well, I believe that a lot of this stuff is staged and all that, some of it. But the Branch Davidian have set what? Has set the precedent for when people come together under some religion seeking to operate outside of society. Right? What happened with David Koresh? Let's talk about it. Fair use for educational purposes only.
In 1993, Americans watched breathless as FBI agents faced off with a self-proclaimed religious prophet and his armed followers in Central Texas. This was established by leader Victor Houghton, weeks-long standoff between the federal government and a religious group known as the Branch Davidians. Established by leader Victor Houghton, the Branch Davidians are a Christian sect, an offshoot of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
See that? See what happens? Fair use. Look at it again.
As FBI agents faced off with a self-proclaimed religious prophet and his armed followers in Central Texas. This was the Waco siege, a weeks-long standoff between the federal government and a religious group known as the Branch Davidians. Established by leader Victor Houghton, the Branch Davidians are a Christian sect, an offshoot of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, with a literal interpretation of the Bible's prophecies. Houghton and a group of his followers settled near Waco, Texas in 1935. Branch Davidians believe in the second coming of Jesus Christ and a day of judgment in which God will punish the wicked and reward.
What happened when a white family came together under a compound? Now, I think a lot of these stories, I don't know if they're made for TV or whatever the case is, but publicly they're setting a precedent. That if we're willing to take out our own people for separating from society, we have set the precedent for what we'll do to anyone else. Okay? They knew that eventually people would get fed up and the children of Israel would begin to understand who we are and begin to move towards helping one another in the end times. So when you see stories like this, they have set the precedent to where they can lock things down, jam all communications, harm people like we've seen what happened here, and then let the news narrate the outcome. You'll never know what really happened. See? They'll jam communications, go in, claim somebody got robbed or something, got killed, that they did to save the children, and wipe everyone out. They have done this before. Okay? So I don't have to be a prophet to show, brothers and sisters, what the outcome is when you plan stuff like that. Especially if you have showing weapons behind you while broadcasting and teaching the Bible.
So y'all hearing this, right? So because of all these things that's taken place in the past, the devil, Satan, is saying, don't none of you think about that. You Israelites. Because me, I tell Satan, my ass. Why? You ought to obey Yah rather than man. See what they're doing? Satan has people under his control. And so they're trying to use these fear tactics. If you start doing this or thinking about this, then this could happen to you. Could not. Depends on what type of man you are. But this is crazy to sit up there and say that you know that Israelites are going to be waking up, coming to a knowledge of the truth of themselves, and then that all, if you study this book, it's only going to lead you this way. If you really truly believe the book. Because y'all just got finished telling you he separated you and he severed you from the people, both Old and New Testament. He wants us separated from the peoples of this land. He still don't want us making marriages with the people of this land. He don't want us making covenants with the people of this land. No leagues with the people of this land. You know how to be in the world, but not of the world. Then he said, especially if you got guns behind you and making videos. Now you have to understand, they live up north. Up north, y'all are not even a free people. Y'all not even a constitutional people. You can't even carry a firearm in New York and some of these areas. You just simply can't do it. They don't understand Southern culture. We love our guns like we do our Bibles. I grew up at a time where it wasn't, every other truck or going down the road had 2 shotguns or a rifle in the back of it. I grew up in a time that even as little boys that we could set up and take BB guns. And before my little time, which a few years before that, they were taking shotguns and rifles to school. So the only way home, they could either kill a deer or they bring their fishing poles to school so they can go fishing. But y'all far removed from this stuff right here. You don't understand this. You go back in YouTube and look at some of the old time in schools and stuff where little boys used to have all these guns parked outside the school building. Nobody wasn't shooting the shit out of each other, nothing like that, like they do in the cities. We don't have problems with mass shootings out in the country. It's only in the cities. For some reason, more Satan, the thief that come to steal, kill, and destroy, he loves just killing y'all. We don't have no road rage out here. Only road rage you're going to get if it's on you on the back of a horse. But you see what he's doing? See, I've been trying to tell y'all, don't do this, don't live like this, and although everybody else does too, because basically we're fearful and we don't want the government bothering us. Now the guns are behind me, not to start a war. How many channels out there you know on YouTube that got guns in them? Tons of them, don't you? Because we're not offensive to guns. Guns is just part of our way of life. Almost every man and woman in this congregation has a gun. Pastor Dowell, trying to help out the modern day church, is trying to tell y'all, listen, y'all better get a security team because people are killing folks. They're killing pastors. Y'all didn't see that video on YouTube where this guy just walks up to the pulpit, pulls out his gun and starts shooting. The pastor ducks behind the pulpit, he tries to get him and the people tackle him. Y'all didn't see that? That's on YouTube. Let somebody come in here and, oh, it would be ugly. Let somebody come in here trying to shoot me and see what happens. I hope the security team faster than I am. I believe that they are. See, we wise. We understand we in our enemy's land, and people don't love us. And so people may want to come down here on this road, or they may want to come in here and get a make my day moment, a wild hair up in them, and want to think they're going to come in here and kill the preacher, and y'all got to get a lot of spaghetti to pick up. There's going to be a lot of spaghetti. There's going to be a person you probably ain't even going to recognize by the time we get finished with it. Because there's only going to be one story told, one narrative. We got a ton of cameras. You can see everything is happening. But we live in different times. So that's just a shoot to say, if you have guns right there, you're antagonizing. No, I ain't. It's just sitting behind me because I ain't got nowhere else to put it in my office. Do I have any other place to put it in my office? The guns and the helmets and the war belt or anything. They on the wall. So people are fearful. Father Abraham had a standing army. Abraham armed his trained servants. Don't you think we can learn something from Abraham? See, it's all about fear. Fear, projected fears. To get you to be fearful of obeying Yah. Now, my question is, how are you going to sit up there and preach this message and yet be fearful to preach this message or to live it? How are you going to be an effective preacher to preach the message and stand up in front of other people and teach them, and then you talking like this? But the fearful and the unbelieving and the abominable shall all have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. Fear have torment, but perfect love casteth out all fear. 1 John 4, 2 Timothy 1:7. God's not giving us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. Fear not, little children, for it's the Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. We got holy angels camped around about us. But if anything, it should teach you, don't you think your family, your natural family, love you, because they don't. You don't believe how much spinning and spunning they don't put on this story. Come on, we're almost done.
Okay, so again, I don't know about the brother's ministry. I've always prayed for him. I always thought that the brother had some good points. The fact that he's courageous, but I never thought going this way was a good idea. Why?
Now, again,
because it didn't work.
I never thought that going this way was a good idea. I don't care what you think. And all you people that's listening to him should listen real close to what he's saying. I wonder how many other opinions that are asserted in here that we shouldn't do because I don't think we should. Again, I have a lot of respect for Elder Rawchaa. I just don't like his position on this because it's too shaky. So you can obey y'all over here, but you can't obey him over here because you don't think it's a good idea because of everything that's done happen out here. I preach stuff that a lot of ministers, preachers, teachers, elders, all of them, they know it's the truth, but they're fearful of preaching it and teaching it because they know you are fearful in a congregation and you will get up and leave. Again, I've said and proven that truth prevails in every instance. You don't preach polygyny in America. Not flat-footed with 10 toes down like Elder Rob says. I do it. There's no truth that I will not preach. There's no truth that I will ever shirk back and go back from. You know the reason why? John 8:32. You shall know the truth, and the truth does what? Set you free. Unlike somebody try to accuse me of using the word loyalty and saying that's manipulating the people. Now who's manipulated? Somebody's deceived, especially after the way I broke that down last night. See, that's meant to go out and to get the weak conscience, the unsuspecting minds, the people who are already doubtful, the people who don't have any testosterone to stand on truth. If you're fearful, stay at home. You getting it? So no, I don't want to have guns in there. We have guns in our cars. We got guns everywhere. We probably got guns in the back of our head coverings. The women probably got them in the back of their head coverings. We don't have the same outlook on guns as y'all have. Y'all are an oppressed people. We can carry guns openly in the city. We can carry it on our side openly. We can. Guns, bows, arrows. Soon y'all people out there going to be like in Australia. You're going to have a picture of a gun you used to own. Pastor Dowell ready. Nice little gun right there. Come on in here. Got 2 right there, 2 in the back out there, and 2 outside. Y'all should feel protected. See, if you was to take these brothers to go to the Christian church and you walk in and they see these brothers, see, you're terrified for the wrong stuff. You got brothers in here that have basically, as armor bearers, have told you that it says, if anything goes down, send me. I'll go. I'm the one that's going to jump in front of this. I just need that if something does go down, y'all obey my commands. Y'all do what I tell you to do. If I tell you to get down, that don't mean stand up and scream and holler. Are y'all hearing that, congregation? We say down, he mean down. That don't mean just stand up and look around. You get it? So you can come to church safely. They go, I don't want to go to church, biting your nails so quick. They got too many guns in there. How many times y'all see me do that? I put a gun up there and say, okay, I'm going to cuss this gun out, see if it'll jump off this table and kill me. It never moved. I still have yet to see a gun by itself kill anybody. I've seen people use it as a tool. Let's finish, hopefully.
For David Koresh. And he's white in America.
Now, basically what he's saying,
Okay.
stop me for a second.
And what happened?
He's saying if the government is going to do this to white folks, then they're going to do it to black folks. Anybody remember Black Wall Street? What about Tulsa? Black Wall Street, right? You remember that? There's a bunch of black folks, man, had banks and everything, living good. They went and blew up the whole damn thing. You got folks that wanted to buy Sony and a couple of these other big corporations. They ain't living now. The thief cometh not but to steal, kill, and to destroy. Let me tell y'all something. It would be better for you to just go ahead and go on somewhere and you can feel safe. Because we can't tolerate cowards around here. We just can't. I can't make you feel safe. If you understand what I mean. That ain't my job. Are you getting it? I will be more fearful of any preacher that will be willing to withhold truth. That's what I will be more fearful of. Because if they're withholding this portion of truth and they give you their ideas and tell you, I don't think you should be doing, what else are they holding back from you? Because all truth is not convenient to hear. There's a bitter truth. Truth got put to death. This world hates truth. Are y'all hearing it? So if you're a chicken shit, you might as well just go ahead and lead the ministry. Help us out. If y'all brought you here, he knew what he was bringing you to. You just didn't know. Y'all hear that? You didn't know. He knew. Glory to the King. And we're in the business of trying to make males out of men. Trying to. They come here males, but everybody ain't a man. I know they identify you as a man, but we're going to test that. Hallelujah. Come on.
What happens is when they're ready to come against you, they shape the narrative. They're not going to come at you unless they know that they'll be able to shut everything down and be able to narrate from their side to have the moral high ground while destroying. Okay? Let me put that out there. Now, let's go back to the story now. Because what they do is they put these stories out first to get the world conditioned into accepting what they'll do next.
True.
Here, though, Fox 59's Michael Van Scoik joins us now from the Cass County Courthouse. After sitting in on that hearing, Michael, what can you tell us now?
Well, Nick and Max, we heard that Cass County Judge Stephen Kitts denied bond for former Indianapolis Colt Daniel Muir and his wife Kristen Muir. Now, the two of them facing multiple charges. The judge cited reasons for denying those charges as the pair being a potential flight risk. Now, this came as a surprise to Muir. You could see that he was visibly upset by this decision. You could also hear making remarks to his attorneys about this decision. Now, Muir and his wife, Chris.
Now, what they're saying is, and I don't know whether or not it happened or not, right? But they're charging them with abuse, right? But do you think that they would have been held without bail if these were just two regular black people, elder lawyer, living in the United States that wasn't attached to that particular group? Do you think it would be without bail?
Probably not. And I'm just speaking off of, again, I haven't followed this situation to even know what the ins and outs are, but usually I would probably say no.
Okay, so now, and I'm not justifying if they did something, hey, the law is the law. But without bail? But now it's not just these parents under fire. That's the whole deal.
Kristen are both charged with obstruction of justice. Daniel is also charged with domestic battery in this case. Now, defense attorneys say Kristen is a nursing mother and asked the judge for a possibility of a GPS monitoring system from the court. Judge Stephen Kitts says this decision to deny bond has been based on the couple's failure to comply with anything over the past 2 weeks. Daniel Muir's defense attorney did briefly speak to us on camera.
Let's go.
This is video we shot exclusively
let me show you how they
Wednesday
came in.
morning, showing state police covering one entrance to this remote, large Logansport property, marked with signs saying, "Welcome to Straightway, Indiana, Goshen," a religious group headquartered in Tennessee. Law enforcement had rifles at the ready as an armored IMPD SWAT vehicle sat inside the fence.
Y'all see this? An armored SWAT vehicle. See? And it says what? Teen rescued after compound raid. Folks, it doesn't matter whether or not it's exactly how they're reporting it. Okay? They have to now prepare themselves for the next shoe to drop. And hey, the only thing I have to say is, if I could give some advice, I would say they're going to have to change courses. Like, listen, hey, everybody go to their own house separate from this. We can still come together for Sabbath like Jews do in their community. But guess what? We can't operate like this, because if we do this, they're going to take the whole thing down. Okay, from the inside out. There's nothing for them to send somebody in there who's a mole to cause an issue that would allow the government to come through. That's just some words to the wise. That would just be some advice. Okay?
So basically, I'm a coward, and this is my advice to y'all. Don't you obey what y'all's done told y'all to do, what you come up in the scripture. Function just like the Jews and everybody else, and everybody go their own little merry way so they will leave you alone. There's yellow streaks running up down people all over the place, isn't there? No, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to buy more lands. We're going to develop more communities. Even more motivated to do it now at breakneck speed. And to make sure we get more of y'all's people away from this crazy-ass world. Now, maybe y'all can use this as if we're teaching you something, you better take heed to it. You better take heed to it. You don't never hear assemblies warning you about the way that your natural family really is. But you in love with them. And you act like they love you. It's like, where's Sister Tammy at? Tammy, there's Tammy right there, right? So Tammy has got a mother that raised teetotal hell down in Straightway, Georgia. And I told her that she need to go and get it right with Doofus. And her mother wouldn't go get it right with Doofus, but now since Doofus is not even in the picture no more, are you following me? Now she thinks it's okay for her to come up here and visit Tammy when I told her you need to go and get it right with that elder down there. Then you can come up here. Her thinking is, well, now he's out of the picture, I guess I can come on up. No, you can't, because you defied what I said. You see what I mean? So no, you can't come here. If she gets married, you can't come here. Because you didn't do what I told you to, woman. You see what I'm talking about? See, they think they can just wait out and you can forget and everything else, you know, and it doesn't. No. Now, Tammy, you free. You want to go see mama? Go see mama. Just don't come back. You see what I mean? People got all kind of freedoms. Why would I let a Jezebel, a woman like that, sit up here and trying to control this narrative? Think you can be disobedient when I told you what you could do to get it right so you could actually come up here and visit. Because this is our land. And I'm sure the sentiments, after I just got finished laying that out, I guarantee you that all the Israelite sentiments, if we took a vote on the community, they all would say, no, she can't come. That's why it's good to have private land. See, we're not a 501c3 church. So ain't no homosexuals going to come flaunting up in here. No lesbians are welcome. No pedophiles are welcome. Jeffrey Epstein and all the rest of them politicians up there that are involved in booty loving, y'all ain't welcome here. See what I'm talking about? Contrary to what y'all believe, we live set apart. We live holy. We believe in being holy. We believe in living a quiet and peaceful life. But we ain't gonna let you come disturb it. We've already had Moses. We've had FBI agents here at the feast before. Sniffed them out. Already knew who they was. I've had them come to services. Ain't the right teaching? I preached hell so hot they got up out of there within 15 minutes. They got up out of there. They left with a vengeance. Teacher, ain't go ahead and hook up my laptop up there. Are y'all getting this? So no, I'm not going to take your advice and stop doing what we're doing because you're scared to death. I'm not going to do it. Like again, Pastor Mir told you last night his only mistake was trusting in family, natural family. Some of y'all going to learn y'all lesson. Some of y'all going to learn it the hard way. Some of you are new to get married and you think your family love you. And you have a baby boy and your family going to go lie on you and try to get them to take your child. That's why we do things certain ways. We do things certain ways because we know what we're doing. We done been around this system, been around this block before. And it's better off if you take heed to the things that we're doing so that you can live a quiet and peaceful life. But we can't teach you for it.